Welcome everyone. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through on the Playwright installation as well as setting the Playwright project. So when we first start the JavaScript programming, we have created this folder on our desktop and we treat it as the default directory of all the projects that we will be creating in the Visual Studio Code. So under this folder, right now, I currently have JavaScript programming. And you may also have the same projects or more projects, okay? So the Playwright projects that we are about to set up, we will be creating it under this Visual Studio Code projects as well. So this is going to be the default directory of all the projects in it still. So I'm here, I am going to create a new folder and I will name this folder Playwright-automation, okay? Playwright Automation. And since I created this folder under Visual Studio Code projects, that indicates that it is for Playwright. Okay, it is a project of Visual Studio Code for Playwright. Next step, I need to open this folder in the Visual Studio Code and install the Playwright. All the required node modules and libraries, I need to install it under this folder in order to make this folder the Playwright folder. Okay, so let's open our Visual Studio Code. And to open this folder in the Visual Studio Code, you could click Open File and then locate this Playwright Automation folder. Or you could simply drag this Playwright Automation folder and drop it into this Visual Studio Code. As you can see, now it just opened the Playwright Automation, this folder in the Visual Studio Code. All right. So next step is for me to give npm commands to install the Playwright. Since we already have installed the Node.js since on day one, to install the Playwright, you just need to use the node commands to install the Playwright. So for that, first of all, you need to go to the terminal. You can go to terminal, open the new terminal here. So to open the new terminal, when you move the mouse over to the top, you will see terminal option and then you can click new terminal. Or, for example, if my terminal is closed, if you click this button, you will also be able to open the terminal. Okay. Now terminal is at the project root directory. This is where I need to install my Playwright at. So to install the Playwright, this is the command that you need to give: npm init space Playwright at latest, because we need to install and initialize the latest version of the Playwright. npm init Playwright at latest. So it's going to install Playwright as well as initializing the Playwright to this project root directory. So once you press the enter key, after pressing the enter key, it will ask you, need to install the following packages. Somehow, if you get this warning stating that need to install this package or that package, some necessary package, etc., just press Y and then press the enter to confirm. Okay, so it stated that I need to install the following package. Okay to proceed. In order to okay to proceed, I will press Y and then press the enter key. And then next step, it is asking me to set the language type for this Playwright. So I want to use the Playwright with JavaScript for a moment, but later on in the future, you will also be using it with the TypeScript. Since right now I am using it with the JavaScript, I need to select JavaScript. So I will press this arrow down, okay? On your keyboard, press the down key to select JavaScript and then press the enter. And then it's asking you, where would you like to put your end-to-end tests? By default, it creates this tests folder. So that's where we can put our end-to-end test set. So you can press the enter key to proceed. And then afterwards, it is asking, would you like to create GitHub Actions workflow? So for the moment, we don't need to use GitHub Actions for CI/CD. So at this moment, we can select false. False is already selected by default, which means you can just press the enter key. And then it's asking, would you like to install the Playwright browsers? Remember, Playwright, it comes with its own browsers. You don't need to have other browsers application that's installed on your computer. It comes with its own Chrome and Firefox, those browser types. Okay. So by default, it's set to true, and we will also press the enter key to confirm. Okay. after it initialized the Playwright, these are the folders and files that will appear under Playwright Automation folder. We will wait for 100% installation of everything. Okay. Once it's done, on the terminal, you will see this option. Use this to begin your typing. So what happened is that it has installed the Playwright, and this tests folder is where all the tests are at. And it also includes one example test. This is the example test. Okay, this is the example test, you see? So in this example test, there are 2 test cases. I just zoomed out to reduce the size. But if you want to zoom in while you're holding the command button, you can press the plus key. If you're a Windows user, it is Control and plus in order to zoom in. And zoom out is Control minus. For Mac, it is Control minus when you want to zoom out. Okay, so these are the default tests that the Playwright has when you first install the Playwright. And if you want to run those tests, you could simply give this command on the terminal. So on the terminal here, you can type npx playwright space test. Okay. And once you press the enter key, it is running it in the headless mode. Okay. It just ran it in the headless mode, and it gave you this result. 6 out of 6 tests are completed. All 6 are passed. So in npx playwright test, the command that we gave earlier, npx playwright test, it is for running all the tests. By default, it runs it in the headless mode. Of course, if you want to be able to run it in the headed mode, you could give this command in npx playwright test, okay, playwright test space dash double dashes and then headed. And once you do it, it is going to run it on the browser. Okay. So it opened browser in my other monitor. Please try this command as well. It is going to open the browser and execute those 2 test cases on 3 different browsers: Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. Okay. So as long as you see those files, folders, and as long as you, after running the Playwright, if you also see this index HTML folder, which is the report, the HTML report of test, that means Playwright now has been installed successfully. Okay. And also, there are a couple more settings that you will have to do. If you look at this Playwright config, you see in this Playwright config, the test directory, by default, it is selecting the tests folder, which is this folder. Okay. And when it executes the tests folder, right now it is executing fully parallelly. So for the learning purpose, at the beginning, it's better if you do not do parallel execution. So at the moment, we will set it to false. Okay. And the retries, it is selecting by default. As for the workers, so workers means how many instances of that browser you would like to select. So for the workers here, it is using ternary to set. I will just set it to 1, meaning that it will only open 1 browser. Okay. And here also for headless, you can also add one more option. Here under this use section here, you can add headless, and you can also set it to true or false. For now, I will set it to false because I want to open the browser when I run my test cases. But of course, if you set the headless to true, its speed is much more faster for you. Okay. And then if you scroll down, you will see the options like Chrome, Firefox, WebKit, etc. This Firefox, it is Firefox for Firefox browser. This WebKit, it is for the Safari browser. So right now, it is going to open Firefox, Chrome, Safari, all those browsers for each test case. And for my testing purpose, I don't need to test each test case on all those 3 browsers. So therefore, I can simply comment out those parts, Firefox, WebKit, those sections. I can definitely comment it out. Okay. So now if I run my test, it is going to run it on the Chrome only. Plus, it will only use 1 instance of Chrome, 1 worker. So for example, let's give the command npx playwright test. This time I don't have to specify headed or headless because I already have did it in the global configuration of Playwright. The headless attribute value, I added it and I set it to false. So which means as long as I give this npx playwright test, it is going to open the browser and then test it. You see, it just opened the browser and tested it. And if you go back to Playwright now, you see, it says that it stated that 2 tests passed. And if you would like to see the report, you could simply copy this command that is shown on the terminal and paste it here. Okay, npx playwright show dash report. Copy this command and paste it here and then press the enter key. After that, it is also going to show you the reports, HTML reports of those example playwright tests. Okay. So as long as you are able to run those existing default playwright tasks by using those commands, and also if you are able to configure this playwright global configuration in this playwright.config file, that means now you are good to go. Playwright has been installed and it has been set up successfully. Thank you so much, everyone. See you all in the next video.